There's always something that is bringing the Browns right into the center of the NFL universe. Right now, it's Shedeur Sanders, right? I mean, there is just so much content.
So a lot of trade offers been made to get Shedeur Sanders in the last 3 months. I'm talking about a lot of trades offers, that is, and the Cleveland Browns have been the organization that's been denying this trade.
Yeah. Good to see you. Oh, we got to do some trades. Dion, she's mine. Hey,
The first preseason game has exploded with trade drama as Shedeur Sanders looks nowhere close to starting for the Browns. And this time, it's not just random talk. The interest is loud, public, and impossible to ignore. Big names like the Dallas Cowboys are circling around Shedeur Sanders, and the speculation is getting wild. But here's the catch. The Cleveland Browns have no intention of letting him go without a war. Sanders is the face of this franchise, the main reason they've stayed even slightly relevant in recent years. If the Browns lose him, it could trigger absolute chaos.
But when he said, well, these are going to be tough decisions and you can't always keep everyone, right?
And then he tried making it like, I was talking about the 90.
Right.
Yeah.
Kevin Stefanski finally spoke up about the exploding trade rumors around Shedeur Sanders, admitting that sometimes teams just don't have the money or space to keep all their players. But even with that shocking honesty, the Browns are sending a bold message. They're not letting go of their rising quarterback no matter how much noise surrounds him. They're gripping on tight, refusing to bow down to the pressure. Still, one truth can't be ignored. If Cleveland actually loses Shedeur Sanders, the team could crash straight back into irrelevance overnight. The future of the Browns depends on keeping Shedeur Sanders, and the stakes have never been this extreme. Now insiders in Cleveland are speaking out louder than ever, with some even suggesting that if Shedeur Sanders really is on the trade block, then maybe it's time to cut ties and cash in. It's becoming impossible to ignore that his market value is sky high right now, with multiple big teams circling like sharks. Reporters are openly questioning why the Browns would cling to a quarterback who still hasn't lived up to the massive hype surrounding him. Fans are also demanding his release, arguing that letting Shedeur Sanders go could finally give him the chance to shine somewhere else and reach the superstar level everyone expects. The pressure on the Browns is boiling over. In a desperate move to control the story around Shedeur Sanders, the team tried to downplay his importance, but the strategy has completely backfired. Instead of burying his name, they've only poured gasoline on the fire, making him even more talked about and impossible to ignore. Cat exposed how badly the Browns miscalculated by believing they could control Shedeur Sanders' fame, arguing that with a player of his level, that's flat out impossible. Sanders brings his own massive following and die-hard fan base that the team can't silence. The harder the Browns push to downplay his importance, the louder the backlash gets, piling even more pressure on the organization. Their entire plan to shift attention away from him has completely blown up in their faces, creating bigger headaches than they ever expected.
Well, I think that this is a football team that really tries to kind of block out some of that noise or tell themselves that they can handle it, that they can handle the storm that's going to come with.
Even in the first game, Kevin Stefanski chose to start Joe Flacco, and the outcome was a total mess. The Browns lost, but the whole conversation still revolved around Shedeur Sanders. Many are already saying that if Sanders had been on the field, the result could have been completely different. One thing is becoming obvious. Sanders looks like the cheat code the Browns desperately need this season. Meanwhile, Flacco looked washed up. He got sacked multiple times, tossed 2 ugly interceptions, and left fans questioning why he was even trusted to start in the first place. Kevin Stefanski may be rethinking the idea of trading Shedeur Sanders altogether, especially with the growing chance that Sanders could end up starting this season. With Joe Flacco's age showing and his rust obvious, it's clear he doesn't have much left to give. If his performances keep going down this same path, he's more likely to drag the team deeper into trouble than save it. That reality could force the Browns to lean on Sanders sooner than anyone expected, making a trade look less and less realistic as they finally start to realize how much potential he actually brings to the team. Kevin Stefanski was visibly furious after the first game, and his body language exposed everything: disappointment, frustration, and even disbelief. He tried to show sympathy for Joe Flacco, admitting that despite Flacco's effort, his sloppy play, especially the interceptions and that brutal one in the final quarter, completely destroyed the Browns' chances of winning. Stefanski said he felt bad for Flacco, recognizing the tough spot he was in, but the ugly truth was hard to ignore. The mistakes kept piling up, and they didn't just sink Flacco, they dragged the entire team down with him.
Very, very disappointing to come away with a loss in that game. Can't be -2 versus a good football team, and that's really the story of the football game. tip balls, and we got to play cleaner now.
Joe Flacco's press conference after the game showed just how badly the loss broke him. His body language said everything. He looked defeated and ashamed of his own performance. Flacco admitted he blew key opportunities, even acknowledging that his passes lacked accuracy, both in placement and trajectory. He went as far as saying this game would haunt him for a long time, and it was painfully clear that he felt the full weight of letting his entire team down. The weight of Joe Flacco's mistakes was crushing, and it was obvious he was already haunted by how much this one hurt. At the same time, the pressure keeps piling on Shedeur Sanders, and many worry it could break him down if it doesn't ease soon. But with Sanders holding the potential to take full control of the team, the Browns simply can't afford to roll the dice on trading him, especially with so many rival teams circling and ready to snatch him up. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco admitted how hard it was for him to swallow his own performance. He recognized that while plenty of his teammates stepped up and played well, he simply couldn't find his rhythm at all. Flacco accepted full blame for the mistakes, stressing that even though the team overall didn't play horribly, this loss would burn for a long time. He seemed especially crushed by the feeling that he had let down the very teammates who fought hard to keep the Browns alive.
You know, I'm wishing that, you know, I had the ball a little bit better, and, you know, I'm wishing I just threw it on his chest as opposed to, you know, doing what I did. And I think we're all looking at those plays and probably thinking about them and just like, you know, we're going to go home tonight and try to fall asleep with those things on our, you know, on our thoughts. And it's hard. I mean, listen, when you lose football games, that's what happens. You're going to have plays that you look back on and think about. And, you know, those guys, they played a really strong game for us today. Like I said, I think when you look at this film, you're going to see a lot of guys that did a lot of really good things. We just had some MAs.
As the trade rumors around Shedeur Sanders heat up, the Cleveland Browns are stuck in a brutal dilemma. Multiple teams have already approached them, eager to grab Sanders because of his raw talent and sky-high potential. With his value rising every week, it's clear the interest is real, and plenty believe he could be the missing weapon that pushes a team straight into the playoffs. But the Browns also know trading Sanders could blow up in their faces, destroying their own playoff hopes and making them look like fools if he shines somewhere else. Shedeur Sanders has already proven himself as a vital piece of the Browns' success, and losing him would create a hole nearly impossible to replace. The team has leaned heavily on his skills to stay relevant, and his play could very well determine their future. Sure, the trade offers pouring in from other teams are tempting, but pulling the trigger could shatter their postseason dreams before they even start. The real question is, would the Browns be reckless enough to take that gamble? Then again, football is a brutal game of risks and uncertainties. Anything can happen during a season, and no decision in the NFL is ever truly final. Injuries, surprise performances, and sudden shifts in momentum can flip a team's entire direction overnight. Right now, the Browns are caught in a massive dilemma, but they still hold their future in their own hands, and they know that one reckless choice could kill their playoff hopes instantly. The pressure has never been higher, and the fate of Shedeur Sanders and the Browns' entire season hangs by a thread. In the end, only time will expose whether they made the right move or a catastrophic mistake. So, what's your take? Should the Browns cling to Shedeur Sanders and risk eventually losing him for nothing, or is it smarter to trade him now while his value is at its peak? Do you believe sending Sanders elsewhere could instantly turn another team into a playoff contender, or would it completely crush the Browns' shot at success this season? Is pulling the trigger on a trade worth the gamble, or should Cleveland finally show loyalty and commit to their star quarterback before it's too late? The future of Shedeur Sanders and the Browns hangs in the balance. Subscribe now and join the debate, because this story is far from over.